All right, here for the NQ80 Daily with Tom. How's it going, sir?
Yeah, not bad. Thanks.
All right, very good. Yeah, enjoying the sunshine.
Nice.
How's the weather where you are?
No, it's raining actually. Been really miserable, like the atmosphere of the whole country. Though yesterday was a bit nicer, to be fair. It was nice to see the solidarity and the even the Daily Mail were on our side. This morning.
Well, look, if you can't be against a bunch of literal Nazis smashing up places of worship, then have a good hard look at yourself.
It's true. Sake. But
so even the Daily Mail
and the Express as well.
Not with the Nazis. And this, wow, but not Nigel Farage. He's still egging it on.
Yeah.
So, disgusting scenes, by the way. Okay, last bit of non-football talk. We're going to talk today about Sander Berge and United's midfield hunt, because we're still short of a midfielder, and it looks like we'll start the season with Casemiro hobbling around in midfield, slower than your gran with a walking stick, unfortunately. So Sander Berge, it feels like an odd one, but then you look down the list of players United reportedly targeting, and the statistical profile looks very similar, right? So, what can he offer? He's not slow. He's not super quick. I think he's all right. His passing range is pretty good. He makes a lot of duels and wins a lot of duels, and wins headers too. So he's a big Norwegian lad. Anything else you got to say about him?
I think technically he's really good. When I saw him a fair bit at Sheffield United when they were in the Championship, but caveat, they were in the Championship. He looked like streets and streets above the rest of the people he was playing with. And I think technically he is really good, really, really soft feet. I think my concern more than anything, like you say, he's not slow, he's not quick, but he turns really slowly. And I think that's kind of my concern with a DM like him. I feel like that's maybe the reason why he's maybe not found a higher level so far, is his ability to just turn like Maguire. We've seen enough with him, hips that really, really, really do lie. And I feel like Sander Berge's a little bit similar in that respect, but on the ball, he is excellent, I think. And he's a big presence. And maybe that works with someone like Mainu beside him who has legs. I don't like this signing particularly. I feel like we need someone who is going to be a bit more dynamic and quicker across the ground. I think we saw a lot of that last season. He's not as slow as Casemiro, obviously. I don't think that's possible from a professional footballer, but he's not going to dominate a game in midfield. He'll be great when he gets on the ball. That's how I kind of picture him. And I feel this might be a bit of a Schneiderlin kind of signing.
Yeah, I think it's easy to feel like that, isn't it? Buying him off a relegated club. There have been good players bought off relegated clubs before, but he made that sideways move basically from Sheffield United to Burnley.
After getting relegated the season before as well.
Yeah. Double relegation. So awesome. Great credentials there. But good players have been relegated before. Robertson, Wijnaldum at Liverpool, notably. So maybe we can't hold that against him completely. But yes, it feels like a stopgap. It feels like something that he's clearly not an elite midfielder. He profiles quite similarly, in terms of the statistics, to Amadou Onana, who went for a huge amount of money to Aston Villa. But different stylistically, better on the ball for sure. I just don't know. Yes, it's not the one that you feel sure, this is transforming us from a 8th place club to a title push, or even to certainties for the Champions League. It feels like they've got a list of players and they're going down them, and they've got to number 12 or something. And it's Sander Berge. And he should be gettable because he doesn't want to be playing in the Championship. And then there's a bit of cat and mouse over the fee. But it should be a low fee, right? Because I can't remember what the fee was to move him from Sheffield United to Burnley. It wasn't a lot, was it? It was like 12 million or something.
Yeah, I feel like.
So Burnley really are asking double that. That's the United tax. And United appear to be moving away from that, walking away from deals where clubs are trying that.
I think what are the players that we're linked to in midfield maybe speaks to is that Ten Hag and the board, the sporting board, don't see midfield as a priority, because the players that we're kind of being linked with, like Rabiot, Ugarte, they all seem like stopgaps. They all seem like we spoke on the last pod about how Ugarte is fine, but if we want to be elite, like, we shouldn't be buying players that elite clubs want to get rid of, so they can bring in someone better than him. And all three of these guys, and we haven't been linked to anyone really particularly outstanding in centre midfield, kind of speaks to we've got a good midfield, and these guys can like supplement it a little bit, which scares me, to be honest, because centre midfield is obviously so vitally important, and it was so porous last year. It was the reason for so much of our the boing nature of our games and the defensive frailties that we had.
I agree, and it would have been a priority. But then again, we had to replace Rafa Varane, and can you imagine going into the new season without another striker again?
Mm-hmm.
It's unconscionable. Problem is, like, after years and years of failure in the market, we've got a lot of
holes,
roles where we desperately needed a player in, and quite a few where we'd really like one in. It feels like United are in this game of chicken with quite a few clubs at the moment. Who's going to blink first on all these negotiations? I mean, it seemed like Paris Saint-Germain wanted their money back on a player they want to get rid of. That's interesting, isn't it? Because I don't feel like United have ever managed that. And I don't know if there's a market for Ugarte or not. Probably not at 60 million euros, I imagine, because no one's spending that kind of money except Premier League clubs. And it doesn't seem like others. And that's not to say he's a crap player, because like everyone wanted him at Sporting. It's just he's gone to Paris Saint-Germain. They've got Enrique, and Enrique wants a different kind of player in João Neves, a player who's very comfortable on the ball, and not Ugarte. And Ugarte lost his place in the team as a result. So they want rid. That should give United a decent negotiating position. It just seems like they're too far apart. And I do wonder if the Sander Berge, links are a lot about negotiation, and he's like a stalking horse, really, not actually the thing they're after. We'll see. I kind of, in a way, I'm hoping that's the case. Although I'm not super excited about Ugarte either, because when I've seen him, I haven't thought, he's the player we really need.
Yeah. I think what the Ugarte thing kind of speaks to a wider point about why are Premier League clubs still paying fortunes for players when they're the only league who are doing it? Surely the Premier League clubs almost need to come together and go, guys, every other nation is fleecing us over and over and over again. No other nation, no other league can afford to pay these prices. Let's not do it. There is a Premier League tax, but it's there shouldn't be. It's not like they're going to have competition. Where are they going to have competition from? Even Saudi Arabia aren't paying fees that big. So they're almost, and I feel like that probably will eventually happen when it comes to that realization. And maybe this summer hasn't been quite as bad as previous. Expecting United to fork out £60 million, but it's just ridiculous and ludicrous. And
and then they're not going to do it. I think they've just clearly we have a different strategy in place. I mean, they paid a premium for Euro because they saw him heading to Madrid the next season if they didn't do that, right? So they paid a premium, but there were reasons for that, but they've walked away from other deals. Ugarte, Branthwaite, because they're going to try and stop paying the United tax. And in terms of the Premier League, I wonder whether PSR rules and the fact that Forest and Everton were sanctioned is focusing the mind somewhat that there is a real cost to getting this wrong. And United are skating around the edge of that too, right? So 2021 dropped off. And it was a really bad one because United lost more than anyone else under COVID, but they also got a massive COVID relief, at least from the Premier League, a little less from UEFA. There's that whole thing about how much COVID relief United be allowed. But yeah, clearly we're right on the edge of it because the PSR cost for Casemiro and Antony in particular is really high annually, like massive. So, what United would do to get rid of them?
Yeah, but it feels like Casemiro is going to play quite an important role in this season, or at least a large role, which is a bit scary.
Large being the appropriate word. No, he's not fat. He's not fat. Actually, someone messaged us to say you shouldn't make fun of Casemiro's appearance. His chubby cheeks are because of the his sort of tribal ancestry, and that's just the way he looks. So yes, he's not fat. He just has cheeks because of his ancestry. So fair enough. He also doesn't always look slim.
He's a lot bigger at United.
Very, very slow.
He's a lot bigger at United than he was at Real Madrid. And I feel that's a lot. That's the same for a lot of players who come to our club. Like Lukaku put on loads of weight when he was at United. Mason Mount looked like he's put on a lot of weight since coming to United. You look at him at Chelsea, he was quite thin and wiry. Now he's just become this player who just stands around, looks like he's carrying a little bit too much weight. Pogba as well. If you compare his body shape when he was at Juventus to United, I don't know what's going on at United. Like they're working too hard at the gym or they're just not watching their diet or whatever. But like we turn dynamic players into not that Casemiro was particularly dynamic anyway, but he's certainly put on weight since he's come.
Well, he was at one stage.
Well, yes.
Yeah. No, we turn good players into shit players. Although Pogba's body shape might have been to do with the no-nos he was injecting into himself.
True, yeah.
Who knows? I guess he's retired now since he's got a massive ban. Yeah. So I think if United had a wish list in midfield, they would have been able to sell Casemiro, but there's really nowhere else other than the Saudi Pro League they could sell him to. No one's going to pay the kind of fee United want for him. Like the other obvious league for sort of aging players has always been either MLS or the Turkish league. They don't pay large fees for players. So United would take a massive impairment. It comes back to when we signed him, I think quite a lot of people were saying, hang on, he's 30 and nearly 31 and he looked like he was slowing down already. This doesn't seem like a good deal. And hopefully it's not the kind of deal that we do anymore, but it takes a few years to work this all out of the system. Yeah. We'll see on midfield. On other transfers while we're at it, since it's a sort of transfer chat today, I guess United are still in negotiations with Bayern over both Mazraoui and De Ligt. Seemed like from the reporting, United was surprised that their bid was rejected.
Yeah, it seems to have gone a little bit colder, which I feel like when it kind of tapes off a little bit like this, it's not largely. And as we spoke about in the last pod, like we really want to get these deals in as quickly through the door as quickly as possible. Like we've got a competitive game on Saturday-ish, game on Saturday, and then the season starts the week after. Like we're really, really close now and we need to be getting bodies in. And obviously, that this comes with I guess years and years of dysfunction because we've been overpaying and clubs think they can still fleece us and we're still in this mode where people think we're desperate. And I understand the reasons why we're holding out and we're negotiating and all that kind of business. It's just like, it just makes you a little bit fearful that either we'll miss out on these guys or that they won't get the start that they need. They won't get the preseason that they need to hit the ground running, which again is really not great considering like how lacking in depth the squad is. Like Luke Shaw's going to be out on Saturday. Harry Maguire's out on Saturday. And again, we're kind of down to not bare bones, but a very, very, very light squad.
I mean, very. Yeah, I mean, listening to Ten Hag's press conference today, it seems like Shaw, Maguire, maybe even Evans and Martinez and Wan-Bissaka are not available. So, maybe Evans is available, but Martinez, question mark. Shaw, Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, question mark. So, not much left. So let's assume Evans is fit and Martinez is okay. He's not played any of pre-season. So Evans, Martinez, Dalot not played any of pre-season, and Harry Amas. That's what we're going into. It's quite cold, undercooked for the beginning of the season, isn't it? Not awesome. And in midfield, Kobe Mainoo's back in training, but he's been training at Carrington with the other late arrivals. He's had no pre-season. Is it Casemiro and Toby Collier to start against City? Up front, no Højlund. Xerxes has been training at Carrington, had no games yet. Anthony and Ahmad have. Rashford has had games. Garnacho has not. So
Bruno's not either.
It's not ideal. Like, a lot of late arrivals, not much through the door, and a whole bunch of injuries already.
Yeah. And
no midfield signing. Which is where we started this pod. And so it doesn't leave me super hopeful for the beginning of the season.
Not that I thought we were ever going to challenge for the league, but considering how many points like Arsenal and the City got last season, and they're consistently getting, us failing to win, I don't know, maybe we win one of our first 4 games or win one of our first 3, and we've spoken about how difficult our start of the season is. We're already behind the curve. We're already looking at fourth place again, and maybe that was already.
Oh, maybe for sure.
That was always going to be the case. But immediately puts you on the back foot, considering how consistent the top 2 at least are, and maybe the top 3. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. It's going to be competitive. There's a lot of question marks over all the teams. So, can Villa maintain what they did? Where are Tottenham, Liverpool? Are they going to go backwards? Newcastle, unsure. If we're assuming that City and Arsenal are the sort of 2 best teams in the country. So there's an opportunity and a risk for United, and there might not be many points in it. And so the beginning of the season is really important, which is why I guess there's some disappointment that United haven't filled a major gap in the midfield. Even if we were to suddenly sign Sander Berge before that opening game, we can't decide how to say his name, can we? Berge. It's one of them. I mean, whatever. He looks like he's had too many. No, he doesn't. He's not chunky. He's just not super exciting. All right, we'll leave it there with a rousing eulogy of Sander Berge. Maybe not.